Good morning! Good morning from Tulum. We have arrived at one of the cenotes. We've been staying with a friend of my boyfriend's for a few days, which are the last days in Mexico for now. But we have made it to Cenote Escondido and Cenote Cristal. So those are the first ones we will be seeing today. We are just driving around on the scooter and seeing as much as we can. We started at Cenote Cristal, and I cannot recommend enough to visit the cenotes early once they're open, since it's so much nicer to have the place to yourself. This cenote has not stolen its name, because the water really is crystal clear. Around the edges you can even find turtles, so bring your snorkels. We spent some time here snorkeling, jumping, spotting turtles, and saw some divers disappear into the hidden tunnels. As more people started to arrive, we headed to the second cenote across the road. For 300 pesos, we could visit both of these cenotes, which is great value for money. Compared to the cenotes we visited in the previous video around Valladolid, the ones around Tulum are a lot more open, making them a nice temperature but nonetheless a bit chilly when you first get in, especially since it's so warm outside. Right off the bat, the fish started nibbling on me if I stayed in the same spot for too long. Once again, the water of the cenote was crystal clear. We didn't need to wear a life jacket in these cenotes, so Manu had a blast diving between the fishies, searching for hidden caves and tunnels. Once he stayed still for too long, the fish kept going for his nipples, and it was hilarious. A cenote is a naturally formed freshwater cave or pool created by collapsing the ceiling of an underground cave. Often they have entire cave systems connected to them, which can be hard to spot, but they attract divers from all over the world. There are more than 3,000 cenotes in Mexico, especially on the Yucatan Peninsula. They are known for their crystal clear waters and impressive rock formations. You do need an extra cave diving certification if you want to go deep into the tunnels, but I went scuba diving in Cenote Angelita and Cenote Car Wash 2 years ago with my regular advanced license. Check out my previous video if you want to see more about it. It truly felt like I was in a different world. It is unlike any dives I've ever done. Oh, a bird just landed in the tree in front of us. It's a big one. We have made it to the next cenote, which is Cenote Corazon. Let's see if it's just as good as the ones we were before. Cenote Corazon del Paraiso cost us 200 pesos per person. It was a bit busier here, but by now it was closer to midday as well. They have a jumping platform as well, and there's turtles you can spot here too. It started raining not soon after getting here, so we hopped back on the scooter and headed back into town for lunch at Birria's Tulum. We had some massive and delicious birria burritos, which came with an amazing free soup. It was one of our favorite meals. Instead of driving back to swim in the lagoons, we decided to go for a ride along the coast or the hotel strip. Most of the beaches are privatized, for example the famous Azulik Resort and lots of other expensive, hipster-looking locations that, in my opinion, are overhyped. We decided to have a look on the public beach instead. Here, turtles nest and are being protected, and you can also spot lots of cool birds here. I freaking love pelicans. There's something so exotic about them. then headed back to our place as it started raining again while Manu prayed for his life on the back of my scooter. I don't think he'll ever do that again. For dinner, we came back to La Negra Tomasa multiple times because they have the best seafood potentially in all of Mexico, and it's affordable, from octopus to the most lavish tuna tostadas I've ever seen, and we simply had to come back to try the seafood tower for ourselves as well. La Guarida is a great place for drinks, and we had lunch at Crazy Fish Tacos before taking the ADO bus to Bacalar. 2 years ago, I stayed at Chibalba Hostel close to the bus station because it was the best value for money hostel with an amazing breakfast included. Popular hostels Yak Lake House and Shea cost about $40 per night and serve no breakfast. This year they closed unexpectedly, so we ended up at Aldea Cheek, close to the main square. It was pricier but included a great breakfast next door. Last time I rented a bicycle, but this time we split a taxi because I'm never doing that again. Los Rapidos is located to the south of the city and is the narrowest part of the Bacalar Lagoon. This makes it look more like rapids of a river. I later learned that the locals visit the rapids at Laguna Bonanza, the next stop off the highway, which charges only 80 pesos instead of 250, and you can kayak and swim to the start of Los Rapidos and bring your own food and drinks, etc. The weather was way better the previous time, which made the colors pop a lot less today. It was also a lot busier than last time, but this time around I had way more fun sharing the experience with Manu.
Okay, spinning.
Spinning. After a lazy float, we grabbed the snorkels again for a look below the surface. We were surprised by the mix of fresh and saltwater fish, and the lilies and the mangrove roots made it feel like floating through a forest. You must really try to swim in the middle of the canal because what you see, the white rocks here along the side, are stromatolites or estromatolitos. And basically, this one-cell organism is doing some photosynthesis. It is using carbon dioxide from the air to create these stones, kind of like a coral. It is super fascinating. It is one of the only places in the world where this exists. You have to be very careful with them and try not to touch them. This heron knew where to find the fish as well. We are going on the pontoon boat on the lagoon to do some sightseeing and some swimming. We got on the pontoon boat and we're all by ourselves, probably because the weather wasn't great. The edge of the lagoon is lined with cenotes, which are clearly marked by the change in color depending on the depth. We first made our way from cenote to cenote. Cenote Negro is the deepest and darkest one. Cenote Esmeralda was closed back when I was here 2 years earlier, most likely for the protection of these stromatolites, which you can see as well around the lagoon. Birds love to hang out here as well, and Bird Island is a stop on the itinerary. Here are some clips from last time to better show off the amazing colors when the sun is shining. Both this time and last time we made a stop here to go for a swim and to take in the surroundings. The final stop was at the Pirates Canal. Here we got some more drinks and freshly cut fruit. The fruit was better on the pontoon boat, but the drinks on the sailboat. Going on a boat tour is the best way to enjoy the lagoon, since the only public place to go for a swim is this public pier, unless you choose an accommodation with its own pier, kayaks and paddleboards. The weather was too bad to do this when we were there, unfortunately, but I'll put some recommendations in the description below. Last time I visited Cenote Azul, but it didn't stand out to me. I do think that the lagoon is prettier. My favorite restaurant, Mr. Taco, has now moved, but it is still delicious and affordable. There is a lively main square in Bacalar, including the fortress, street vendors, and an artisan market. I did get the impression that Bacalar is still a lot less touristy than other cities along the Riviera Maya. The perfect end to a day here is a delicious marquesita or paleta. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, then give it a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos of Mexico. And then I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!